Hey guys, it's Dr. Joel Rosen, the Adrenal Ninja, and today I'm going to talk to you about stress and the production of biochemistry and nutrition. I think it's super important because so many of us, when we deal with exhaustion and fatigue and feeling burnt out, we get anxious and we get depressed and we get irritable and we get panicky, and it has a physiological reaction in our body. We get heart palpitations, just sort of a pending doom, and palpitations, and just standing up and getting lightheaded and fainting, and or just not sleeping, not being able to just relax and chill out, and getting irritable, and so many things that we have. And a lot of it has to do to stress, right? A lot of it has to do with the perfect storm of what we've dealt with in our life, from our environment, from our family upbringing, from what we learned from mom and dad. And it really impacts us. Then there's traumatic experiences, and that impacts us. And then there's, of course, just your immune system and your hormones and what you eat. It just becomes so overwhelming. And so that's what I wanted to just mention to you a little bit about how that impacts biochemistry in the body. And so you have to think about it as, number one, if the nutrition isn't sound, if you're not getting good minerals, and if you're not getting good leafy greens, and you're not getting enough nutrients, I mean, you consume a lot of them, and if you're exercising and or you're just very active, even mentally, then that's going to use up a lot of nutrients. And so you got to look at that for sure, because it's super important. Then, of course, you've got to look at how you're stabilizing your glucose. Really, really important. And then you got to look at, of course, how you're digesting your food. That's super important too. So there's so many things to go into it. So if people are asking me what's the best nutrient for adrenals, I give them smart aleck response, like, well, it depends on how your gut health is, and depends on how your glucose is, and depends on how your sympathetic system is. It depends on a lot of variables. So, but I also wanted to talk to you about the importance of biochemistry with the nutrition, and being able to have some kind of tool to be able to control and fix this beyond just supplements. And that has to do with being able to use your brain in a way that it's helpful for you. And that's really important to understand too. So what do I mean by that? So I mean, it's, if you think about heart rate variability, let's talk about that. Heart rate variability is a measure of sympathetic overwhelm. So if you have very low heart rate variability, it's going to keep your heart rate it may have fast heart rates, but it's going to keep it very uniform. It's going to have the same cadence between beats, and that's low variability. There's not a lot of changes. Whereas with parasympathetic dominance, or parasympathetic changes, or characteristics, I guess is a good word, is you're going to have a lot of variability, because you're not going to have those big, those consistent beats. You're going to have some smaller, some bigger, and that has been learned and taught that can be controlled through your ability of your brain to get into a parasympathetic interpretation. So when you have a stressful event and you have someone that is able to get your heart rate elevated, or you have everyday encounters that are stressful, then you're able to control those with knowing first that you can control them, because you can, but it requires good nutrition. It really requires good nutrition. You can't expect to control that, even if you're aware that you can control them, if you're eating crappy. And a lot of people say, well, I'm eating really well. And I would really want to I'd look at you like Larry David looks at you, like, well, are you really eating well? Maybe what you think is eating well may not be so well. Like, you're gluten-free, but you're still carbitarian, or you're still eating foods that have food sensitivities. And maybe you even got rid of those and you're gone vegan and you're not getting any protein. Or maybe you're eating a lot of protein and you're not digesting it. So I don't want to cross that off the list just yet. And I don't want you to either. I think you have to understand that. So I just wanted to create this quick little video for you, that there's a lot that goes into getting better with exhaustion and overwhelm. And a lot of it has to do with awareness, and a lot of it has to do with nutrition. And you can really impact the neurotransmitters with serotonin and dopamine and GABA and your catecholamines and acetylcholine. There's a lot that you can do to help it, and there's a lot of genetic susceptibilities. But where I see the most problems is with medications. The medications are good short term, not good long term, provided you get upstream and do what we just talked about. So hopefully that made a lot of sense to you. If it did, I really love your comment. So tell me, hey, Dr. Rosen, that didn't make sense at all. Tell me, hey, Dr. Rosen, that was awesome. I really appreciate it. Hey, Dr. Rosen, it was good, but I wanted you to talk about this. So let me know about that. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later.